So I am Angel Ciangi, and that's not, oh, there it goes. And I do trend forecasting and trend research. And Jody obviously just gave a really moving sort of testament to communication in the international scope. But what I want to talk today about is that sort of same thing, but bringing it down to the US. And so I want to talk to you about the multicultural market. And first, I just want to say, when we talk to young people, we like to refer to the group of kids that we talk to as the young MCs, young multiculturals. What they tell us is that they feel invisible when it comes to marketing, when it comes to products being developed and services being developed. They feel like all of us in this room see the United States like this, when actually it's more like this. 30% of the US market is people of color. That's like 14% Hispanic, 13% African American, 9% Asian, and then about 2 or 3% mixed race. So it's bigger than I think the market thinks that we think it is, and at least that should matter to us, even if we feel like we're trying to do a good job. What these young people tell us is they don't feel like they're being seen and heard, and they don't feel like things are being developed with them in mind. So that's what's going on actually. 30%, a little over 30% of the US market is people of color. In the near future, that will be about 55 to 57%. So this is a market that is growing exponentially. In particular, when it comes to multicultural market, the big portion of that market is under 18. So definitely the 14 to 24s are the ones to focus on. So who are they? I think in the past, dealing with multicultural, dealing with diversity was a lot more direct. It was more narrowly defined. So if you put some black people in your ad, you could go, check, I got the black people. If you changed your packaging and translate it into Spanish, check, now we've got Hispanic people crossed off our list. That's not how multicultural kids see themselves these days. Yes, culture is important. It is the foundation of who they are, but they tell us again and again that that is not it. It's that they're very multifaceted. So culture is their foundation, but all these other things that you see up here, friends, family, where they live, their interests, those also play a huge role. So you can't just talk to them as a black person or as a Hispanic person. It's bigger than that for this generation. And so if you are able to do that, which it is obviously a very tricky thing to do, you're gonna create this really profound connection with them. Those brands who are doing it right are the ones that these kids stay with forever, because there's not that many people, frankly, doing it right. And this is just coming from their mouth. So it's not what I think, it's what they tell me. Great. So what do we do about it? I said it's hard, it's very complex, it's very complicated. It's really important to communicate with them. And the first thing I often tell our clients is hire some people who look like these kids. That sounds like, really simplistic, I know, especially in these times when obviously there's a recession. A lot of our clients say, oh, we have a hiring freeze, we can't do that. Okay, fine. So then the next level, maybe hire some people who know how to connect with these kids, who know how to bring these kids to you and create that dialogue. Okay, you say, all right, Angela, we can't even afford to do that. The other thing, the nice thing about social networking out there, the nice thing about where we live for most of us is that you can go out to the street, you can get online, go look at some blogs, see what kids are saying, go in front of a high school, do your own little, focus group. It's not that hard, and really it starts with the dialogue, it starts with the communication. These people really feel underserved, so anytime you reach out to them, really they're going to be happy to give you their thoughts and feelings on products, services, marketing, advertising that they're seeing out there. So that's sort of the market as a whole. Really quickly, I just wanted to talk about some trends that we're seeing that sort of can be part of what I was saying about, culture is important, but then there's all the other aspects. So some little nuggets that I want to leave you with that we're seeing bubbling up that sort of take the culture part of it and put it over here and then let you sort of deal with, okay, but what's on their minds? What are they going through? What do they want what do they want us to talk to them about? The first one is called Revenge of the Nerds. A lot of this we kind of feel comes from the whole Obama effect. A lot of these kids tell us that for the first time, they have people who look like them who they can aspire to. And so we're hearing a lot about them talking about education in a big way, how school is now becoming cool again. Whereas in the past, If you were a person of color and you were into school, you might have been called an Oreo, or you might have been said, somebody might have said you're whitewashing yourself. That they're moving away from that, and we really expect to see more kids more focused on education. The next one is the rise of what we're calling the multicultural superwoman. This, again, is also grounded in the fact that for the first time, really ever, a lot of women of color, young women of color, are seeing a lot of women to aspire to as well. So whether it's Andrea Young, who's CEO of Avon, Sonia Sotomayor, obviously Michelle Obama, these are people that they feel are great representations of what they can become. In the past, we heard a lot from young women of color saying, my priority is family, I want to get married, I want to have kids. Now we're starting to see a shift from that, and they're telling us that those things are still important, but now they're really starting to focus on, how do I get myself ahead? I want to be part of corporate America. I know that I can be, because I'm seeing these women before me achieve it as well. And then the last one is what we're calling green for all. And for the longest time, obviously the whole environmental thing, I think no one would disagree that it's been really led by white people. But now what we're hearing from young people of color is that this is almost becoming like a social justice issue for them, because for a lot of them, they live in neighborhoods or areas where there is no clean air, they don't have access to organic fruits and vegetables, and they're starting to say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't necessarily fair, and so how do we get behind this? How do we make this our own so that we can affect change ourselves and our own communities? So we're seeing a real interest in eco, we're seeing a real interest in like organic gardening and bringing that into their communities, and we expect to see that carry on in a much bigger way as well. So just a really quick overview of multicultural for all of you. Thank you.